How do companies deploy thousands of LEO satellites for internet? Imagine a vast network of tiny satellites zipping around the Earth at incredible speeds, all working together to bring internet to every corner of the globe. That's the goal of deploying thousands of low Earth orbit satellites. But how do companies actually make this happen? Let's break it down. First, they start with launching the satellites into space. Instead of launching each one separately, companies often send many satellites at once on a single rocket. This helps save money because rockets can carry multiple satellites at a time. They use two main methods: direct launch and indirect launch. In direct launch, satellites are sent straight into their specific orbits. It's simple but can be expensive and less flexible for very large groups. Indirect launch involves sending a bunch of satellites into a common orbit first, then using onboard engines to move each satellite into its final position. This takes longer but reduces launch costs. Once in space, the satellites need to spread out evenly. They do this by performing orbital maneuvers. Satellites adjust their positions using onboard propulsion systems, often electric thrusters, which use less fuel and are more efficient. These maneuvers include changing their altitude and angle to keep the constellation well spaced. Sometimes, they need to change the plane of their orbit to align with others, which is done through a process called nodal precession, caused by Earth's gravity. This process can take months or even years, depending on how many satellites are involved. To help with deployment, satellites are often mounted on carrier vehicles or pallets. These carriers releases multiple satellites one by one, and each satellite then uses its own propulsion to reach its final orbit. This method makes the whole process more organized and efficient. Satellites also need to stay in their correct positions over time. They constantly perform small adjustments using their propulsion systems to stay in the right spot, avoid collisions, and compensate for orbit decay caused by atmospheric drag. This ongoing management is essential for keeping the constellation working smoothly. Companies plan their launches carefully, balancing costs, time, and technical needs. They often launch satellites into different orbits and then move them into their proper places. This flexibility helps them build large networks that can cover the entire planet with fast, low-latency internet. In the end, deploying thousands of low Earth orbit satellites is a complex but well-coordinated process. It involves launching many satellites at once, then carefully maneuvering each one into its place using onboard engines. This approach allows companies to create extensive satellite networks that provide internet access anywhere on Earth, making connectivity more accessible and reliable than ever before.